Edition of Extra Time. Jules is back with us. Oh, Jules, it's been a day, don't worry, not just for you, for all of us.
Yes.
Yes, it really has been one of those days. But let's just test his mic. Say hello, Jules.
Hello, guys. I'm so sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
Perfect. That's okay. We'll let you off, Jules. All right. Dan said this was a down year for the Premier League. I disagree. It's not 2 or 3 at the top dominating everyone. There are 11 teams giving you a real game every weekend. Not to mention Tottenham and Manchester United. More than the usual 4-6. 4-6.
I'll agree with that. There's been a lot to talk about, including Tottenham and Manchester United, for reasons that they'd prefer we weren't talking about. On the one hand, I kind of understand the sentiment that it's a down year. You don't see City dominating, and we're so used to City kind of dominating not just English football, but thinking that they're going to dominate European football, whether they win it or not. That's usually the expectation. But to the question, I think it's been great to see, and so many different storylines, not just City's own feelings, but who thought we'd be talking about Nottingham Forest in the way that we have, Bournemouth in the way that we have, that we'd have as tight a top 4 race that become a top 5 race because England will be getting that 5th place for the Champions League. So I just feel that there's a lot more to talk about. There's a lot more, not uncertainty, but it's far more difficult to predict because so many teams have been so good. And I'm loving. You know, I'm a romantic. Okay, I'm loving all these underdog stories.
Oh, romantic Shaq. Are you as romantic and enjoying it as much as Shaq?
He's French. He has no choice but to be romantic.
Right?
Exactly. I have to, but I will disagree with Shaka in the sense that there's interesting stuff in this season, like in every season. I just don't think it's a classic Premier League season. It's not a vintage Premier League season. I think Liverpool have been in a league of their own. We've said that many times before. It's been too easy for them. Even when they don't play well, they are still too good for pretty much everybody else. And for me, a top season is when all the top teams are great, and also Nottingham Forest or Bournemouth, teams like that. And it's not the case this season. Yeah, you've got Bournemouth and Forest, but for the rest, Arsenal have been pretty average, so have been City, so have been Chelsea. A lot of inconsistency amongst the top 10 outside of Liverpool, if you think about it really, and let's not even go to United and Spurs. So not the best of season, but take nothing away from what Liverpool are doing, Forest are doing, Bournemouth are doing, because they deserve all the plaudits still.
I love the accountability that it's expected in the next question, Shaka. Was it a mistake getting rid of De Gea for Onana? Can you be honest with your answer, Mr. Hislop?
For once.
Well, only because you call me Mr. Hislop. That's the only reason. Listen, I thought at the time getting rid of David De Gea was the right decision, was a sensible decision, for a couple of reasons. I thought David De Gea's form had just started to wane. Also, he was just on so much money. I think it put a lot of pressure in terms of the salary cap and what else would be done. But then Manchester United kind of undid that by, okay, you get rid of one of your big earners, but then I'm trying to remember the timeline. Was it 6 months, 18 months later, you put Marcus Rashford in a similar contract. And now you have those same salary cap concerns that you did before David De Gea left. I also think that Onana, given his performances, certainly for Inter Milan, looked like the right choice, and it's a discussion that we were having during the show about Anthony and how much better he's looked since moving to Betis, and albeit smaller club and not as much expectation, it's the other side of that same coin for Andre Onana. And I feel there's this kind of malaise about Manchester United, that a lot of good players, a lot of players you expect so much of, have come there and for whatever reason just have not performed. I will continue to believe that when there are issues at the very top of a club, it trickles down to those who are taking the pitch, and feel that that's probably their major issue. The trouble is you don't see that part changing. So we may be having this same conversation about Manchester United, about Andre Onana, and about any number of players.
Do you have any thoughts on that question, Jules?
Yeah, I mean, I admire Shaka's honesty because we wanted Mr. Hislop really to give an honest answer. I feel Mr. Hislop did that. I know, I agree with everything Shaq just said. I think the environment at United is difficult. It would be for anybody. Onana didn't become a bad goalkeeper after being a top goalkeeper at Inter Milan, taking them to the Champions League final, being probably the best keeper in Europe that season, certainly in the Champions League. So I find it difficult now to see him like that. I think the structure around him is not right, and that's why he struggles as well. And for De Gea, the money that he was on was not sustainable for a club like Manchester United. So it also made sense to go for a younger player who was very good at the club that he was before for less money than what De Gea was on before. So you can understand now, I think the club and Amorim should help Onana going back to the level that he used to have at Inter Milan, because that level is still there. He just needs to find it again.
Jules, the next question for you. Is Asensio going to join Aston Villa if he maintains this form? And if it does happen, do you think he will be another Coutinho?
It's a great question. I thought exactly the same tonight. And to be fair, in midweek when Asensio was benched somehow by Unai Emery in the spanking that they received at Crystal Palace, and I was thinking this player could very quickly become almost indispensable, I think, from a Villa point of view. So what do you do in the summer? The thing is, what's the value of Marcus Asensio right now? At his age, he's 29 years old. Is it around the 25 million, 30 million mark, maybe 40 million? If that's what PSG would want for him, a player that they signed on a free, by the way. So it'd be really interesting, because I think the wages right now are not too much of an issue for Villa because it's a 6-month loan. If you go into a 4-year deal, for example, or a 5-year deal even, on similar terms, then that starts to be a big investment, right? So you'll have to make sure that this is exactly what you want and what you need right now. And they might want to do the same with Marcus Rashford. So I'm not sure if they could do both Asensio and Rashford on a permanent deal at the end of the season. They might have to choose one or the other. But it would be very interesting to see what happens if Asensio keeps this form.
It is interesting to see how he's just hit the ground running at Villa, isn't it?
He's found such a nice position. And we were talking about this post-games, just sitting in behind Ollie Watkins. And he is such a technically gifted player, Marcus Asensio, that when the ball pops out to him in a little bit of space, not a lot to operate in, he is just flawless with it. And that's difficult for anybody to pick up, anybody to stop. And then, again, kind of given everything around him, certainly in the game against Cardiff, you had the two wide men that were just had Cardiff's back four spread from sideline to sideline. You've got Ollie Watkins pushing up onto the shoulder of centre half, and you've got this incredible technician just sitting in this hole, just waiting for anything that comes loose, and you know what you can do with it. And it was on full display yet again. So Unai Emery is employing Marcus Asensio wonderfully well. Does that mean a permanent deal? Jules knows better than me in terms of what money might be involved and how that will affect Aston Villa's pay structure, the profit and sustainability. There's just so many layers to this. On footballing terms, it's a great fit. It's an absolute no-brainer.
Absolutely. Shaka, does Arne Slot's style make Liverpool more likely to win the league back-to-back?
I think certainly Liverpool win the league this season, and as a result, and I know a lot will hinge on what City do in the transfer window, what Arsenal do in the transfer window, City's charges. But we'll end the season thinking that Liverpool are more likely to repeat than not. And again, that thinking may change over the summer months, depending on any number of factors. But right now, there's nobody even close to being as good as Liverpool.
What do you think, Jules?
Yeah, it's interesting. It'd be, I think, a bigger challenge next season even, because it will come with all the pressure of being the reigning champions. They might even win more than one title, so they will have more than one trophy to defend. But I think they will strengthen for him, which they haven't done in January and really not last summer either. So I think he will also have new players, which is a good thing because it should make your squad better, but also you will have to integrate them in a squad that is working well. It will also depend if they lose Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold in the summer. Because if they lose them three, even as reigning champion, even as great as Arne Slot has been so far, it would not be the same story at all without them three.
As Jules was talking, that crossed my mind, the players that are going out to contract. I think Trent Alexander-Arnold will go. For whatever reason, I think Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk stay. I just don't see them moving on. So I'm basing my answer on those two facts.
Okay. All right. I like that little amendment.
Yeah, I just scribbled in the bottom
Yeah,
of my
absolutely.
scribbled in the bottom of my answer page.
Jules, will Mbappe ever leave Real Madrid?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, he's only just arrived, so it's a great question. The dream, as we've said a million times on the show, through the whole saga of the last, 4, 5, 6 years, whatever. The dream was to wear that shirt. So he's there now and he's doing great, and we're obviously so happy for him. How long will that last? I don't know. The thing that makes me maybe think about it is that if he wins a lot, but when I mean a lot, let's say in the next 5 years, there's, 3 Champions League, 4 La Ligas, things like that. At some point, you think, okay, I've done it all here. Because yeah, he could go after some records, but to beat Cristiano's goal-scoring record for the club, for example, or even Raul's, will take a long time. But it's not impossible, of course, but he's obviously 26 now. He turned 26 in December. So that's the only thing. And I think at some point, a player of this caliber might fancy seeing something different, maybe. Although he always says, and they've said it to me so many times, that Real Madrid are the biggest club in the world. And once you are in the biggest club in the world, why would you want to go anywhere else? Because anything else would be not as good as the best club in the world, the biggest club in the world. So yeah, I can see him stay until maybe quite late, and then come home to France and play somewhere to just finish his career. Maybe the club that he owns at Caen, if they're back in Ligue 1, that could be a nice ending. But maybe if he wins a lot with Real Madrid, maybe he thinks, okay, I've done it all here, now let me try to go and conquer somewhere else.
We obviously know Jules will have the exclusive if this moment should occur.
If Jules decides to take a pay cut, I'm sure Jules could orchestrate whatever move he wants. He'll compensate Kylian accordingly.
Absolutely. Shaka, what percentage chance do you give Plymouth to pull the upset at the Etihad?
Oh, listen, Plymouth have done well to get this far, but 23%.
23%?
Yeah.
I like the little put in the 3 there.
Yeah,
making it a bit
I don't hit the hard.
interesting.
No, I don't hit the hard 5s and 0s.
Are we accepting that?
23%.
It's from Mr. Hislop, Jules?
Definitely not from Mr. Hislop. And by the way, call me Mr. Lawrence now, by the way. Why is it just Mr.
Monsieur Laurent.
Merci. 23, Shaq. No way.
23%. That's all right.
Too high.
What was it? They beat Liverpool right in
Okay.
last round. Was it Plymouth and Liverpool right in last round?
Yeah, Plymouth.
Yeah, but he was at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, they beat
Away this
Liverpool.
time.
Yeah, but they beat Liverpool. It's Liverpool, albeit all-change Liverpool. 23%.
It is one of the best rhyming slang names, though, isn't it? You've got no Plymouth. Plymouth Argyle style.
Oh God.
You must know that, Shaka, from your London
I
days.
did forget it. I have no idea what we were talking about for a minute.
Jules knows. Jules
I
loves
have the
a
old
fight.
Cockney rhyming slang.
Jules, seeing as that we've got you, we're not going to ask you any Cockney rhyming slang, don't worry. We need to ask you about this kid at Monaco. We probably butchered his name earlier, so we'll let you tell us all about him.
Did you call him Mike, by the way?
We did. I think we just, maybe we did. Yeah, because it says Mike in our shot sheet. And like Anchorman, we read whatever's in front of us.
That's true. Mika Biereth. I mean, Arsenal fans will remember him because he was part of the academy. He was quite close to the first team at some point. He also played for the Fulham Academy. And I don't think he was just ready at the time. So he went on loan. He went to Scotland, where he did okay-ish. Then he went to the Netherlands, where he did much better. From there, went to Sturm Graz in Austria, where he did really well. And Monaco, who wanted a striker because Folarin Balogun is out for quite a while still. They just needed a number 9, like a goal scorer. So they went to get him at Sturm Graz for 13 million euros, 1-3, which meant that I think Arsenal received 2 million euros part of that deal because they had a percentage on a sale from Sturm Graz. And he describes himself as a very old school striker in the sense that he stays in the box. Don't ask him too much to link up the play. Don't ask him too much to do the intricate passing or things like that. He's just a goal scorer. He's just a finisher. And even if in the Champions League, he was not obviously as efficient as in the league. In the league, as we saw on the graphic, it's been incredible. This is his 3rd hat-trick in his last 3 home matches. for Monaco. It's just incredible. And if you look at the goals, and we showed the highlights earlier, they're all that kind of finish. He finishes 1 touch, 2 touches, very good on penalties. He's a very interesting guy considering he's only 23 years old. So I think it feels already like a good pick from Monaco.
A good pick from Monaco. Is this a fluke, or could we see him doing the business for Arsenal in the near future?
I mean, for the club to buy him back, he would need to do more than the 10 goals in his 10 games for Monaco, because this is also Ligue 1. But to be fair, he had a really good scoring record in the Eredivisie. Then he did well in Austria, the 2 minor leagues, of course. And now in Ligue 1, he's just arrived at the end of January, so we need to see a bit more. But certainly, he's got that sense of goal. He's got an eye for goal, as you can see very quickly. I think you saw that even at a young age when he was at Fulham and Arsenal academies. So that he will not lose it, but there's still a big step up between Ligue 1 and Monaco and the top clubs in England or in Europe.
All right. Well, we'll stop calling him Mike. We will call him Mika next time.
Call him
Mike now, isn't it? Mike from Monaco.
Or Mr. Biereth.
Mike from Monaco.
It's the English. Call him Mike.
Mikey. Mikey's doing great at Monaco.
Well, Mikey.
All right. Thank you so much, Jules. We made it. We made it, Shaka. That's it. Thanks for sending in your questions. We'll try and make it back tomorrow.